Hey guys, Tinker Taylor here today. This is my second time trying to record this video, so apologies if I seem, I don't want to say frustrated, but if I seem like I've already spoken about, like if I'm like, oh, well, I already said that, and I didn't. I kind of forgot to edit a whole part, but I already did, so it was included twice, but once unedited and once edited. So I just quickly fixed that, but we're still going to be on time, thankfully. Which is one thing that I was really proud about when I first started recording. We're on time. I'm actually on schedule or ahead of schedule actually. Um, but if I don't get a move on and get this recorded, we might be a little bit late. But hopefully not. So this build was for a cult called Villains in the City. It was hosted by a lady MP. Overall, you can find her on Twitch and Instagram and maybe YouTube. And co-hosted by Tattooed Simmer and Witching Mermaid, who you can also find over on both Twitch and Instagram. And I believe I'm more confident in saying you can find them on YouTube as well. They just don't do as many videos. They're more into streaming when they have the time. So yeah, definitely check them out. And I believe Lady, I think if you go to her Instagram, she should have a little link in her bio where you can find the save file for this collab, which is just in San Myshuno and Magnolia Promenade, I believe. I think I'm remembering multiple parts because in the spreadsheet she's lady split up the sections of San Myshuno and then had keep forgetting Magnolia Promenade separate as well. So I think that's why I keep getting a little bit confused. But yeah, if you would like to see that sort of stuff, definitely check out Lady and Kitty or Witching Mermaid. And at to see, yeah, these sorts of builds. There was a bunch of us involved. It was really, really cool. I was saying when I first tried to record that it was really interesting to see um how people took the character or the villain that they chose and how they were inspired by it, like what they did for said villain. And it was really, really just a lot of fun. I don't know if I would have done it the same way for all the villains, but that's because I don't really know all the villains as well as other people do, and seeing them uh, from the villains that I do know, it just fits really, really, really well. Um, we had like Cruella de Vil and Hades and Poison Ivy and Catwoman. Um, and I have done V from V for Vendetta. Technically, I've also done um, Adam Sutler, the Chancellor, because depending on I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it, but depending on your perspective in the movie, whether you're watching it from a societal standpoint or from a cinematic, and I don't want to say cinematic, but from like the perspective of the plot of the movie, there are, again, perspective matters, but in my mind there are two villains depending on the side you're on. And so I kind of decided to include both. Um, so V lives down here underground. He's got two floors. Well, he's technically just got one. The second floor is where the cells are, and the little room where Eve's head gets shaved. And then we have entry level, which has got some shops in it. So you will see the shops in this video. The next floor up is apartments. They are empty. Now they're empty because, again, it goes along with the movie. In my mind, it would be like this is the building that the chancellor lives in, the guy who runs this whole place, and he lives here. And he, he goes on about like if you work hard and you follow the rules and blah blah blah, this and that and whatever, then you could live somewhere like this too. But he's running it. He's like running the country into the ground. People have no hope or anything like that. And so no one can really afford to live there. Um, and I don't know. It's kind of sad. Not, I was gonna say not really, but it is. It is sad. That even though you'd think that like this is where the guy who runs the whole country lives, he lives in such a nice fancy place that the apartments here would also be nice and fancy, but they're really not. They're really not. And I again, that was an intentional decision on my behalf because I felt like, he's always spouting in my mind about modesty and living, well, basically just living modestly. And so, yeah, the apartments around here look very modest and boring and nothing special. So, people are fighting to get into these places, but then also once you get there, it's actually not great, but you have to pretend it's great because you don't want to upset almighty leader. So it's kind of, yeah, a little bit of dystopic vibes here. Which it fits very well in my opinion. It's definitely the vibes of the movies through the vibes we've got going on here. And then of course Sutler's apartment. He's got a two-story apartment that is just disgustingly rich. Um, it's just like excessive. It's not overly cluttered, but it is excessive. And it's sort of a double standard of like he's telling everyone not to live excessively, but there he is living very excessive. Um, so yeah, that's the sort of inspiration for this build. If you haven't seen the movie, definitely check it out. It's one of my top favorite movies. Um, and I don't think I'd rebuild it. I said this the first time I recorded this. I don't think I'd rebuild it. Especially not V's apartment. It's just it works so well, and I think it maybe not 100% movie accurate, but definitely character wise, I feel it's accurate. If you've seen the movie and you disagree, please definitely let me know what you would change about it. But I personally feel good about what I've done. I did try and make it as movie accurate as possible, but I also didn't at some points where I was like, I'm just gonna kind of take my own um liberties here and make my own decisions. So yeah, there are some things that aren't quite the same. Like for example, this isn't in a city. This is actually in the promenade buildings around. But because of the challenge, this is kind of the only place it really could be. And I guess with even with Faye's apartment, even if I were to take one of the penthouses in San Myshuno, where would I put V's apartment? Because he lives in the basement, but there isn't really a basement option in these builds. And it's, yeah. I originally had an apartment and I thought I could do something in the apartment, but then I didn't like the apartment and I changed. And yeah, I don't know. It's just, I'm happy with how it turned out in the end, even if I couldn't make it the way, even if I in fact could never make it the way I wanted, just because of the world and what's around it. Sometimes I find that really difficult. Um, I have an idea and I'm like, it'd be really, really awesome in this style of area, but I can't find a lot that suits what I'm trying to make. So I've had to learn to be okay with that, make adjustments and whatnot. And it's also challenged me to think about, okay, how can I turn what I'm taking, what I like this idea that I have, how can I take that idea and make it fit in the game, kind of make the game work in my favor. But sometimes it just doesn't. And I mean, this build does not work here in this world. If I'm being completely honest, especially not with the other builds around. They definitely do not match and go together, but I don't really I'm not really upset about that. I don't know. I think because I'm proud of the build and it works for me and it makes me happy that at the end of the day it's fine. Like I don't actually mind all that much that it doesn't 100% fit the world. Or that the world doesn't fit my build. It's still something that I worked really hard on and I'm proud of. Um but it also has given me sort of an inspiration where I kind of want to do a build series, not a series, but like a oh, I guess a build series based on movies and TV shows. Now I already had the plan to do the Pokemon build series before this. I think it was kind of similar vibes, similar time period. Um, and quite honest, I can't remember where that idea came from. I'm gonna have to, if I want to figure it out, I've got to listen to previous videos on how that came about. But I was also being very coy about it, so I don't know if I would remember based on what I've been saying. Um, but the so like yeah, because of that Pokemon challenge, there's not really another time for me to do this series of like TV show and movie inspired builds, except for uh the A to Z challenge. So I've already got builds underway for the A to Z challenge for next year, so this will have to be a much later challenge, which is like a much later time that I do it, which is actually okay for me because it gives me time to come up with the ideas and inspiration and research and whatnot. Um, and yeah, I don't know. There's some TV shows I've already got ideas from, but I wouldn't rebuild this one. It wouldn't just be TV shows. It could be movies and cartoons as well. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't rebuild this uh series because I'm happy with the way it turned out. I think yes, there are a million things I could have changed and done differently and probably done better, but like I said I just I'm proud of it. I'm proud of how it turned out. Um, so yeah, definitely, you know, of the build. Um, so yeah, I don't know if I've already mentioned this, but this build is just the exterior and the shops and the apartments, the just generic empty apartments. But then the next video will be Sutler's apartment, which again is very over the top, um, very icky in my mind. Luxurious is probably the word that's actually better to describe it. I think it's just too much for the world that the people live in. But I really enjoyed doing V's apartment, which will be the video after that. So definitely keep an eye on. Currently my favorite. I don't know. There's a lot of builds that I've done that are somewhat different to what I'm usually like what I'm used to, and I'm just learning to be proud of my building and getting into it. Um, but yeah, I'm very proud of these. His apartment is probably my favorite bit of this whole build. In fact, his bedroom is probably my favorite. There's a lot of things that I love about the build, especially his apartment. But yeah, it's if I had to pick something, it would probably be the bedroom, but a close second would kind of be one. He's got like one big main living area that's kind of open to everything else, so it's kind of like it would be if I were to say that area, it's like almost his entire apartment. So, no, maybe like a certain part of that apartment, like the like an art gallery sitting area. I don't know that it's It's gorgeous. And the floor plan for that part of the build I got from, I just looked up V for Vendetta floor plan, I think, or maybe V's apartment floor plan. Um, I don't think I called it apartment. I just think it was just V for Vendetta V's floor plan. Um, and I did, yeah, a lot of googling for a lot of different scenes and things like that to try and make it as accurate as possible. But like I said before, well, I hope I said before, I did take some liberties and yeah, just make decisions of my own that maybe weren't necessarily accurate or whatever, but yeah, just doing my own thing, having fun, enjoying myself. And I've just realized I started to talk about the A to Z challenge, but I didn't explain the rules of it. So let me jump back to that. Because yeah, the rest of this build is kind of having a look at these these shops and building the apartments upstairs, which are really kind of sad. But the A to Z challenge is a challenge I came up with a couple of years ago where from July to basically January, it gets complicated. Not complicated, but a bit more lenient towards the end of the year. You get a new build, a new letter every week from the alphabet in the order that we know the alphabet to be in. Um, just to clarify, it is the English alphabet, so um, other not got any of those fun combination letters or whatever. But yeah, the so each week you get a different letter. We're currently in week W. So yeah, if you want to do a room build, a bigger than a room proper build, you can do that, or you can do a CAS creation. So with CAS, you could do like a Wednesday Adams, or you could do a warthog if you could somehow figure out how to make a warthog in CAS. I'm not a CAS person. I always go in and just, oh, not the word, randomize. Every sim I have is randomized. Their names are randomized, their traits are randomized, everything is randomized. I just not really huge into CAS. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Um, so we'll be touring them, and I'm not quite sure still how I'm gonna be doing. I'll figure it out. Don't you worry. But yeah, the what was I saying? CAS. Oh yeah. Um, each week you get a different letter. You do a build or a CAS creation based on that. It can be a full build or a room build. I'm taking a max of 2 rooms and a max of 2 CAS creations. Um, so like technically for letter A, you could do the Adams family, like any two of the Adams family. But if you were to do just Morticia Adams, I would probably argue that's the letter M. I don't know. It's very I don't know. I'm confusing myself and it's making it complicated in my head, and it really doesn't have to. But basically, yeah, you could do whatever you want really, as long as it starts with the letter. But you can't use the word or the as your letter. So for let's say T, you couldn't do the White House because that's a W. Um, but you could do uh, a terraced home. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. A townhouse. There you go. That's a good one. You could do a townhouse, or you could do like a teen room or a teen hangout spot or whatever. Like it doesn't matter. Um, but another thing is you don't have to participate in every week. So if this is your first time ever hearing about the challenge and you want to participate, you absolutely can. You don't have to participate in every week. In fact, you could do one all the way to 26 if you wanted. Any amount is up to you. It's yeah, not a stressful challenge, I hope. And that again, that's why it's one build a week, but it could be a room, it could be a CAS creation, it really could be anything. I know there are some people out there who do the challenge and they will go and do like 2 or 3 small like 3 by 3 rooms for the challenge. So with the 3x3 room, they really don't have to stress about like making it super cluttered and detailed, because even if you do, you could still smash out 3 rooms in a day if you wanted. Um, and that's why I've specifically categorized it as, yeah, like a room or a build or a class, so that you don't feel like you have to stress yourself out. And yeah, it's just a little challengey challenge. Really interesting. Continuing in the future. Also, if you do want to participate in all weeks, you can absolutely start now if you want to um participate in the next year. I'm not limiting you guys to doing one build each week. You could absolutely start in advanced. Um, it really is up to you guys and what you want to do. I've had some people hand in, I say hand in like it's homework, but some people enter builds that they'd done before the challenge was even created. So, that's something you could absolutely do. Um, the point of it is though that you are meant to do something new and different and outside of the box and sort of challenge yourself. So if you do give in older builds, it kind of defeats the purpose of challenging yourself. But if it's something that you already challenged yourself with and you feel proud of, then absolutely go for it. Like, I'm not going to stop you guys from doing that. Absolutely up to you guys what you want to do with your builds. And if you even want to participate in the challenge at all. So, yeah, there's that challenge. And I actually do it in 26 days myself in February. I originally did it in February because A, it was the shortest month of the year, and it was almost like I could fill up the entire month with builds. And B, when I was at uni, that was the best month for me to have time off. It's when I had the most time off, and when had I don't know, I studied over Christmas, over the summer semester. I was always busy, but yeah, just for the best month for me to do it was February. So I still kind of do it in February now, and I'm working on those builds in the background now. But I'm also working on another. I keep calling it a challenge. Thankfully, so far in this video, I haven't. In the first recording, I did like 1,000 times. I'm calling it a build series, but it is also a challenge for myself, where I am doing a build for every single Pokemon there is. And I understand that is a lot. Don't you worry, I have thought about that. It is definitely a lot of builds. Which is why I'm also getting start now, and I'm hoping to get about an average of 8 or 9 done a week, which again I know is a lot, but because they're so small, a lot of them are small. Yeah, I'm not really all that stressed about it, and I'm really staying away from bigger lots. In fact, for starter Pokemon, I have decided that they must be pack restricted in some way. Ideally, it would have been one of each pack type and potentially one kit. I didn't have to, and I don't think I have so far. But there's a few of them where I used a couple of um, expansion packs, but only expansion packs, like two, 3 expansion packs. And there's a couple of them where I used maybe 1 or 2 expansion packs and 1 or 2 game packs. But there's a handful where I did actually do one of each. So they are all definitely pack restricted, and I've tried to, um, I guess, marry them up so that they kind of go together. Um, and yeah, I don't know. It's another little challenge to myself to make sure that, yeah, I get builds done in a way that is inclusive of people who don't have everything. But some of these builds are unlimited pack. So yeah, it's sort of, yeah, like some areas I limit myself, some areas I don't. Um, some areas I go really, really simple and I don't want to say minimalist, but almost minimalist. And then other areas I go really, really I don't even want to say really detailed. I haven't done any super cluttered builds. I try not to anymore. It's just a lot of effort and energy. But I'm trying to do some builds that are outside the box. There's a build that I'm currently working on that has no buildings in it. It is all just clutter, not clutter, but furniture and things like that. So, it's got I don't want to say what it's got, but it's got landscaping for sure, but yeah, nothing else really. I don't even know if it's functional. That's another thing. I should probably look at making functional builds. Um, but not all of them will be functional. But I'm also, yeah, not just doing residential. In fact, I don't think I've done. Where's my list? I have a list of ideas, and so far I've stuck to them, which is pretty good. It means I don't have to kind of figure it out and change it all up. Oh, technically one of them could be residential, but it's not. But the rest of them, yeah. I think my first residential is Weedle, but even then, I don't know if it's yeah, it will make it residential. Um, I think my first, even that, there's a lot of them that are like technically could be, technically won't be. Yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of fun different ideas in here. Some of them are things that are in the game, so like, I gotta find one. Okay, there's a lot of stuff in here that's questionable. Uh, um, Restaurant. There you go. A nightclub. But some of these are like completely random things that might not even exist in the game, and I've got to figure out how to make them exist. Um, I guess there's a pool technically. I don't know. There's just lots of fun things going on in there. And I have come up with ideas for 28% of every Pokemon, so that's a lot of ideas. It's about 300-ish, I think. Um, and I've successfully completed just under 1% of builds. I think I'm at 0.9%, 0.98%. So now is not a lot. That's not even 1%, but in the grand scheme of things, yes. But if you look at what I need to do now, that's 1%. I don't know. It makes me feel proud that I've actually almost hit a number. And I think by the end of today, I'll definitely be over 1%. I'm gonna knock out a couple more builds. I have one that I'm about halfway through. That's the one that I was saying that's so far no building. There's no windows, no walls, no roofing. It's all, yeah. There's no build. It's all buy. All from the buy catalog, which I think is quite a fun little challenge. Uh, by accident. But yeah, hopefully I can get that one done today, and then it's basically done. I've pulled out all of the items I want to use, and then what I'm gonna do is pull out, oh, sorry, like just organize them. And then the next one, I reckon I could finish. It's nothing too complicated, nothing too detailed. I'll probably do it on a smaller lot as well. It's fantastic. I love doing smaller lots. They're so much easier. I don't know why I was so obsessed with doing all these bigger lots. Yeah, these smaller lots are just so much better. I feel so much better about them. And then there's one more after that that I probably get about halfway through. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of fun and exciting, and I know people are going to be like, "What about when you get burnout?" Like, you're definitely going to get burnout, but the idea is by the end of this year, I will be 3 months ahead, which I know that's a lot, but I have most of the builds done for this year already. Like this build helped me out, and then I've got a couple of others in the background that haven't gone out yet. There's some shell challenges that I'm going to be participating in and putting out. So yeah, I don't know. It's I think I have 2 shells. I do. There's 2 that I haven't shared. So I'll share those, and then there's probably another 2 that I'm going to work on soon. Yeah, it's I feel pretty chilled about these things. And I'm hoping over the next week I can yes builds. Because the more builds I get done, the less stress I feel, but the less I do, the more stressed I feel, which makes it harder to build because I'm so stressed. So I'm trying to stay out of that negative loop, and I have found that getting up earlier has helped me stay out of that, which who would have thought that someone who is an early bird would do better at getting up early. It's kind of it's sort of the like state the obvious type thing, but yeah, I also find when I eat breakfast that I get more done as well. If I'm not eating breakfast, I will eat as soon as this video is done. Because I kind of spent all morning trying to make this video work, and it's just not playing nice. So yeah, definitely going to get some building done. Hopefully 2.5 builds today. Otherwise, it'll technically be 2 because it'll be 2 halves and 1 whole. And I might do some like screenshots and stuff like that for in the future. I don't know, it's kind of really exciting to have all this stuff getting in and getting done and whatnot. So I think my biggest problem though is my phone. I get so distracted by it and I'm addicted to it, and I just need to put it down and forget about it. Which is why sometimes when I'm really, really distracted, I'll actually just go and give my phone to Onion, who is one of my roommates. We share an office space. Um, I'll just go and give him my phone, and if there's anything important, he'll let me know, and if it's not, he won't. He knows what's important to me. If it's a message from, let's say a family member, then he'll let me know. If it's a message from if it's a game notification or a I get like notifications from like Uber Eats and stuff like that all the time, and it annoys me to no end. Um, he'll ignore them and not answer them because I don't need to be distracted. So I think that's what I'm gonna have to do for the next couple of days is give him my phone so that I don't. Because I get very, very distracted. Not the greatest. And I am working on that. But yeah, anyway, that's kind of a weird little ramble there. Also, it was about this point in the video, maybe like 5 minutes ago, somewhere between 5 minutes and now, where last time I was talking, it screwed up, and for a good solid 3 minutes, I was just staring at the same thing, not moving, which is not great. I do this thing where when I'm building, I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. If I'm on live, if I'm live streaming over on Twitch, I will just pause and I'll just talk and whatever. Because I'm like, oh well, it doesn't matter. Like I can just edit it out, and then I get to the stage where I have to edit it out, and I'm like, why? Why did I do that? Why can't I build and talk at the same time? It's so annoying. But when I'm building off stream, I just pause the recording and then I can go do whatever I want and come back, and it makes it so much easier, which is why I'm trying to do so many builds off stream, because then I don't have to worry about pauses. You can see here there's a little pause I did when I was editing it. I see like the pause is done now, it's fine. It was like whatever, I can deal with that. I don't want to have to fluff around with editing this so much anymore. I just want to get in and get it done, and so that's kind of just what I did. I'm really hoping I didn't cut anything out because I was very confused as to why there were so many things appearing. Like I said earlier, and I know I said this earlier because it's the second recording and it wouldn't have made sense to say the first one, but I got to a point where the video was going, and then it randomly just like I'd clearly paused and was talking, on stream and I didn't edit it out. But when I tried to cut that part of the video down and I looked at the next part, it was the same thing again, but edited this time. And I was like, wait, hang on. What? Why have I got the same thing twice? I was very, very confused about that. But I quickly fixed it up and then immediately got distracted talking to one of my roommates, and now here I am recording it again. But still early. I'll still have this up before the normal time, which, you know what, I'm proud of. Actually getting things done. I'm not being distracted. Um, but yeah, definitely be going to be giving my phone over to Onion a lot more so that I can get a lot more done. Because yeah, otherwise I'm just gonna get nothing done and I'm gonna stress myself out. And I don't really want that. I say stress is my superpower, but it's not really anymore. And I'm quite happy to not lean into that. I'm quite happy to avoid stress. I think I'm at that point in my life where I just wanna chill and relax and have a good time, have fun, and can't exactly do that when I'm stressing myself out. So yeah, definitely relax and do things that make me happy. Well, I've really, this is gonna be so weird, but I've really gotten into watching. They're called Cracking the Cryptic, and they basically just do Sudoku puzzles and word, not word searches, but crosswords and wordles and things like that. And sometimes I'll actually follow along and play along with them, especially in the Sudoku. But other times I just put it on in the background and just it just occupies that little bit of my brain that is distracted and I get so much done. And it's also there's two guys on the channel, two British guys. And I found a lot of the videos being recommended to me is just one of the guys. I have listened to the other guy and he's also got a very, very soft voice. They're both very soft. They're not very loud. And I find it, if I want to watch something while I go to sleep, it's very relaxing, very calming. There's no annoying noises or whatever. I know some people listen to documentaries when they go to sleep because a lot of the times documentary voicists, that's not the word I'm thinking of, hosts, the main people in it who are presenting the information, can have a very relaxing or even monotone voice, and that like it is actually good that they have a monotone voice because then your brain's not being excited by the words, it's being relaxed and calmed. It's probably a better word. They have calming voices. Um and because these guys, yeah, they're very, very relaxed and calm and quiet. I found it just really, really nice to fall asleep to. I don't know. I don't and I've it used to be I had to listen to something to fall asleep. Like it was absolutely mandatory, but now it's kind of like if I need to, I'll chuck on one of their videos, but if I don't need to, I won't because I don't need it anymore. It's something that no, it's just not necessary anymore, and I really appreciate that because I find when I sleep without a video on that I sleep so much better. So yeah, I don't know. It's just fun to learn more about yourself when you discover random things like that. I don't even know how it came about. It was just some random video that showed up, and now it's all over my suggested videos, and I'm not exactly mad about that. So yeah, if you're looking for something, if you like Sudoku, definitely watch it. They're really cool. Or I say cool. They're really fun to watch if you enjoy those sorts of puzzles. And they're really hard puzzles, and they explain it so that even people like me can understand. Which is fantastic because yeah, you're not having to try and follow along this complicated train of thought. It actually makes a lot of sense. Um, but if you're also needing something quiet and calming to fall asleep to that isn't a documentary, definitely recommend that as well. But anyway, we are getting towards the end of this video. So this part here I did right at the end. This is the finishing touches. So everything in this build is finished. But you may have gotten glimpses of the other apartments and floors that we are going to look at in the next two videos. But yeah, it's done, it's finished. It's something that I'm pretty proud of. So definitely let me know your thoughts and opinions down below of this video. If you love it, if you hate it, if you think it matches the movie or if you think it doesn't. Absolutely love your feedback. And if you want to see more videos like this where I kind of ramble on about most random things and potentially even rambling on about nothing, definitely make sure to subscribe. I'm currently doing 2 videos a week, but next year we will be upping that schedule. It's sort of exciting and sort of nerve-wracking. For that, yeah, build challenge. In February, I'll still be doing the A to Z challenge every year. Definitely check out my Instagram, which is linked down below, if you want to learn more about the A to Z challenge. But until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.